What is going on, you guys? John Shea here from the No Shame Income blog, and today I'm going to show you how I made $380.95 by following Gary Vaynerchuk's advice. So let's dive into today's video. Alright, so I'm over on my desktop, and I know for many of you, if you're a Gary Vaynerchuk fan, you've probably watched his many videos where just in general, a lot of the advice that he gives, I always felt wasn't particularly not that it wasn't useful or helpful or motivational, but that it wasn't really so much too actionable, right? And I think part of the problem, and that I've always found with people that are like Gary, are that they're not really providing so much of how-to or really specific advice around any specific topic, right? He's got such a broad general audience that a lot of the information he's giving is basically catering to someone that could be really in any type of business. So I guess for what it is, this is really probably the best thing that you could do, right? But I went out and I was looking at some of the videos that he had, and I remember seeing in the past, I don't religiously watch a lot of his videos, right? But I watched one of these videos where he talked about a strategy that I thought was really interesting, that really anybody could do, that they probably haven't thought about in a long time. It's something that a lot of people probably aren't taking advantage of, and they literally have something sitting right in front of them in their own home that they could use to potentially make some money. So I'm going to show you a clip here from what Gary was saying in this video, and then I'm going to actually walk you through what I did and how I took this advice and went out and made some money doing it.
Think a lot about money and opportunity. Let me tell you about an opportunity that I can't get out of my head, which is there's a website called Craigslist. There's a section called free, where people list shit that they want to get rid of. You go there and you take it, and then you list it on Facebook Marketplace and you sell it. And when I think about this, I've been dreaming about this for the last 72 hours, by the way.
All right, guys, so hopefully you like that clip from Gary. Again, some of the advice that he gives is to obviously go out and find free stuff on Craigslist and then turn around and sell it on the Facebook Marketplace or eBay or wherever. And personally, I think while that could work, I just generally think that a lot of people are giving something away for free. It's going to be a lot harder to sell that item because most likely people would have done that in the first place had they really wanted to sell it, right? You do have the potential to do that, but again, not really something I was interested in. For me, what I decided to do was really go through and clean my entire basement and my entire home and find all the things that ultimately were just stuff that I wasn't using anymore that I knew had some value that I could sell. So I wanted to walk you guys through how I actually did this and give you some idea of how I made almost $400 sort of following Gary's advice, right? So I went out and one of the first things I found was this old laptop, and this thing I paid like $1,200 for back in 2005, so it was over 10 years old, and I decided to put this up for just 50 bucks. And the reason for that was the back of the screen and the casing was actually damaged and cracked, but the laptop still works. So this one's been a little bit of a hassle to sell. I get a lot of real cheap people, cheap mentality people reaching out to me. You could see this guy couldn't even spell the word address right to get my address. And just a lot of people sending me messages in Spanish, you can just tell that they don't have a lot of money and they're just trying to get something super dirt cheap. So I'm almost regretting even putting this up because it has been somewhat of a waste of my time, given that I'm only going to get 50 bucks for it. Another thing that I listed was this older computer that I built for kind of a home theater setup. It was a custom cube PC that I was using for gaming and playing movies and stuff alongside my TV. And I ended up replacing it with a much better one. And this one I just don't really use a lot more. So I was I paid $600 for all this stuff a couple years ago, but it's still a great computer. It can run a lot of games. Still works as a pretty good PC, so why not just sell that? And this one I got a few bites, but ultimately haven't been able to sell this one. Now the things that I was able to sell, I wanted to go through those. So the first one, my parents actually were selling their home, and when they cleaned out their entire house, we found this old trampoline net that was originally supposed to be for a trampoline I had as a kid. And we never ended up installing it, and I said, you know what, why don't I, instead of throwing this thing in the dumpster, why don't I take it and see if I could sell it on eBay or something? And I was kind of letting it sit in my garage. It was there for more than another 5 years. And in fact, on the label of the box, it said best trampoline net of 1998. And when I searched this thing, I couldn't even find it on the internet. So the thing was practically over, almost 20 years old. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put this thing up for 50 bucks. There were a lot of them on Amazon that were a lot more expensive, and figured I'd see what I could get. I had a lot of bites, but people were thinking it was a trampoline, like an entire trampoline, and I was like, oh man, no, it's not. So I was just constantly answering people saying, no, it's not a trampoline, it's just a net. And eventually I got someone who was serious at the $25. I lowered it to 25 bucks just to get rid of the thing. And this guy was like, I found one on Amazon for 20 bucks free shipping. And I was like, I don't believe you, but whatever. If you want to throw me 20 bucks, sure. The guy showed up, and I had told him I was practically willing to give the thing away. So when he got there, he didn't pay me any money and just took the thing. And I was pretty much at this point glad to just get rid of it. So this one I didn't make any money on and kind of wasted some time. I almost, I suppose this guy's using it, but I might as well have thrown the thing in the dumpster in the first place. The next one was a laptop that I bought back in like 2012, 2013. And it was a gaming laptop, really nice, all yellow, really lights up, pretty cool. And I was like, you know what, why don't I take this laptop and sell it? I had paid a lot of money for it, had some memory upgrades and other things, had Windows 10 on it that I upgraded to. I reset everything so it was like completely brand new, and basically sold this thing for 350 bucks. But I ended up actually trying to sell it on eBay, and it ended up selling on eBay before it ended up selling here on the Facebook marketplace. So when I put it on eBay, I started at 300. And I got a bunch of bids up to 350, but then a bunch of people retracted the bids, and someone that had bid 300 ended up winning it. So I ended up having them pay me about 20 bucks for shipping. But when I took it to go ship it, of course, I ended up paying $30+ in shipping. So I kind of lost out a little bit than what I would have liked to get for it. Honestly, I think this laptop could have been worth a little bit more, but you figure with the way computers are, things do kind of degrade quite significantly over time. Like 5 years is a long time for computers. So ended up making at least a solid 320 bucks off that. And in terms of one other item I found was this inversion table. This was something I was trying to use to help with back pain, but I just found it to be kind of weird, and I never really ended up using it. The thing ended up sitting in my basement for basically a year, and my wife made fun of me for even buying it in the first place. So ended up selling this for 60 bucks, had a guy show up and basically take it away and hand me cash. So ended up not going wrong with a couple of these, but yeah, overall I ended up making about $380.95 outside of maybe like the shipping costs to ship this laptop. So I guess to say the least, if you actually go and take some of this advice from Gary, think about all the things that are in your home, go list them on the Facebook marketplace, sell them on eBay, because these were things I wasn't really thinking, hey, I could go sell stuff around my house that I just haven't really been using. I know it's kind of obvious, but I could almost guarantee you probably have something in your home right now that you just haven't actually gone to try to sell. So why not go do that and make some money selling stuff that you're just ultimately not using anymore. Figure it's a really good way to go out there and make some extra cash. But in the overall end game of this, the reason I wanted to make this video was that I think Gary really talks a lot about hustle and grind and all this stuff, but he's not really giving you like a specific path or something specific that you can do, right? This isn't something that you can make a living off of. If you want to go take free stuff off Craigslist, turn around and resell it, maybe you can make a couple hundred extra bucks every week doing that, but I ultimately don't think that's a real business, right? It's more of a hobby. It's something to make a little extra cash flow, but you're not going to make a living. You're not going to quit your job doing this. I certainly couldn't by selling the stuff that was in my house. So anyway, I've left a link below in the description for my #1 way to get started making money online. Check that out, and if you have any questions for me, leave me a comment. And again, thanks for watching.